Good Thursday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our beautiful weather window today. And I'm telling you folks, today, just the start of a beautiful 4-day weather trend that we'll get to in a second. But check out this shot looking outside our Jump Off Ridge Sky-Fi Tower camera. And just to the right side of the screen is kind of our Wenatchee Heights cross camera. So we're looking down behind that today. And part of Three Lakes Golf Course, I believe, is there. Well, I will be a little bit later on, and we'll have more on that later as well. But it's going to be a beautiful weekend. Look at that, dry and warm with mostly clear skies. It will be unseasonably warm too. Our normal high temperature right now is around 69. We are going to be in the upper 70s and lower 80s. Lows for us mainly in the 50s and maybe just a little bit of wind Sunday. I think most of that will be in the Columbia Basin. And once again, I'll have your complete weekend weather forecast coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. A man in his 60s was reported this week as Okanagan County's second COVID-19 death. In a ruling yesterday, a Moses Lake police officer was justified in the February 28th shooting death of a suspect, and an Okanagan County couple will get a new trial in their lawsuit against the rural electric co-op they blame for the loss of their home. But first, we begin tonight. Wenatchee police are investigating an apparent arson on the athletic fields at Wenatchee High School, believed to be the second such arson at a neighborhood sporting facility in the last month. Firefighters were called to the baseball dugout behind Wenatchee High School shortly after 8 a.m. Wednesday morning. Police Captain Brian Chance said a fire in the dugout burned up a support post and scorched the wall panel. It's reminiscent of an April 10th fire police investigated in another dugout at a nearby Morris Little League park. Damage was relatively minor in both cases. Chance says evidence and photos from both scenes, including security footage from the high school, are being reviewed. Well, a man in his 60s was reported this week as Okanagan County's second COVID-19 death. Okanagan County Public Health said the man died at Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee after being transferred there early April when his condition worsened. A 44-year-old Okanagan County woman died at her home April 18th. 5 people in Chelan County have died from the virus, 2 in Douglas County and 3 in Grant County. A Moses Lake police officer was justified in the February 28th shooting death of a suspect and, quote, acted with the highest level of professionalism as a trained police officer, unquote. That announcement from Grant County Prosecutor Garth Dano on Wednesday. Officer Nick Stewart shot and killed 22-year-old Jose L. Rivera after a vehicle and foot chase in the Cascade Valley community. Rivera, a suspect in several robberies, turned and fired a handgun during that foot chase, hitting K-9 Chief in the eye. It started with Rivera being pursued in his pickup by Moses Lake Police and Grant County Sheriff's deputies. After Rivera's vehicle was disabled by spike strips, he started running. Chief has since recovered, though he did lose his eye and suffered a broken jaw. He was retired from the police force last month. The Columbia Basin investigative team investigated the shooting, which led to Dano's announcement that there would be no charges against the officer. An Okanagan County couple will get a new trial in their lawsuit against the rural electric co-op they blame for the loss of their home. A fire in 2015 destroyed the property near Omak owned by Edwin Wells and Ann Miner. Its cause was traced to equipment owned and maintained by Nez-Pelham Valley Electric Cooperative. The homeowner's first lawsuit failed when an Okanagan County judge issued a verdict in favor of the co-op, but the State Court of Appeals said Tuesday the case should not have gone to a jury. Coming up next, Town Toyota Center plans to feed some of the community's most essential public servants. The state of Washington has unveiled a new way to keep tabs on its pandemic-fighting progress. Citing social distancing concerns, the U.S. Forest Service has canceled all overnight permits in the Enchantment area of the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest. And a rare plant known only to grow in Chelan County will have more protection after a state land swap. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Welcome back. In another news, Town Toyota Center plans to feed some of the community's most essential public servants. On Friday, the sports and concert venue will deliver more than 800 lunches to local first responders and healthcare workers. It's part of a Mother's Day outreach to those helping to manage the COVID-19 pandemic. General Manager Mark Miller said Town Toyota Center reached out to its business partners hoping to offer just 500 lunches, but response from almost 40 donors made 800 box lunches possible. Town Toyota Center caterers will prepare the meals, and they'll be delivered by staff and volunteers to 15 locations, including local hospitals, clinics, fire and police departments, and skilled nursing facilities. Well, the state of Washington has unveiled a new way to keep tabs on its pandemic fighting progress. The online COVID-19 risk assessment dashboard tracks the state's preparedness in 5 categories, including testing capacity, where Washington still falls short, and overall disease activity, which as of this week is low and falling. The data used to create the dials is the same as that used to guide some progress in the governor's Safe Start reopening plan. You can check out weekly updates to the measurements every Wednesday at the state's main COVID-19 webpage at coronavirus.wa.gov. Well, citing social distancing concerns, the U.S. Forest Service has canceled all overnight permits for March 15th through the 31st in the Enchantments area of the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest. The permits were won through a lottery system and will be refunded. The Forest Service said it will reassess its permits going forward every 2 weeks. In addition, a daily walk-up lottery system for permits has been canceled for the rest of the year, with those permits added to the online reservation system. Well, a rare plant only known to grow in Chelan County will have more protection after a state land swap. Whitted's milkvetch is a flowering shrub that can only be found within a 10 square mile region near Malaga. To preserve it, the Department of Natural Resources said this week it's exchanged almost 2,200 acres of state trust land for roughly the same acreage owned by Ravenwing Ranch near Malaga. The new land will become part of the Upper Dry Gulch Natural Area Preserve and help protect the plant from further habitat loss. Whitted's milkvetch is on the state endangered species list, and it's a species of concern for federal authorities. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Boating in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bob File Boats and Motors. See their full line of Crown Line boats. Crown Line features the Forte gel coat, which perfectly accentuates the sporty silhouette of this boat. Its contours are further enhanced by Crown Line's patented fast tab hull design, which not only embraces the distinctive sports car styling, but also ensures a safe and comfortable ride. See Crown Line boats at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
Bob File Boats and Motors.
We're dealing.
Bob File's gonna make you smile.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
Welcome back to the NCW Life Evening News. Wenatchee civic leader Steve Maher will join an advisory board to help guide social services while the state recovers from coronavirus. Maher is executive director of Our Valley, Our Future, a group that studied economic and housing inequality in the Wenatchee Valley since it was founded 5 years ago. Governor Jay Inslee, who appointed Maher to the group, says the new Social Supports Advisory Board will help make sure the state's most vulnerable residents aren't left behind in a recovery. The team held its first virtual meeting today. In tonight's features story, Maher joined NCW Life's Jefferson Robbins to talk about its mission.
We're going to advise the governor on steps to, both for recovery and then also if there's a second wave, as some people expect, we'll be advising him on that too. There are 3 different recovery or advisory groups. Mine is called Social Support. The other 2 are Economic Recovery and Healthcare. Approximately 8 to 9 people on each group. There's also a cabinet member who will be sitting in along with the governor in these meetings.
Our social supports group will look at meeting the increasing need for so many basic human services, from food to safe shelter to housing and health care. And they'll look at the recovery that through the lens that addresses the equity, the need to increase rather than decrease equity as we go through this challenge. We know our vulnerable populations have always had stresses, and we want to do everything we can to minimize those in the face of this pandemic.
Why don't you give me sort of a quick digest of what you've been doing with Our Valley, Our Future for the last 5 years?
It's been a lot of organization planning, facilitation. I think one of the big things I've done is continually kick the ball down the field on projects and programs that make up the Our Valley, Our Future action plan. That action plan is meant to basically improve the quality of life for everybody here. I want to say in mid-March, we had several community leaders come to us and say, hey, this pandemic is really starting to have an impact here, but we're not doing a very good job of communicating to our Latino community, particularly our Spanish speakers. So Our Valley, Our Future, with the help of the Community Foundation, the Chamber of Commerce, Columbia Valley Community Health, Confluence Health, we put together what we're calling our Latino Communications Network. It's a group of about, I'd say about 130, we have about 130 now, organizations and individuals who are taking content that we're generating or finding elsewhere that's in both English and Spanish, and we're distributing it to this network of folks who then are passing the word around further within their own networks. And it's been very, very effective.
What do you want to try and bring to the table when you're advising the governor on how to fortify the state against the pandemic or a recurrence of a pandemic?
We've got to be really cognizant of that fact, that we're trying to reach all of those who have been economically or socially impacted by the pandemic. Here in North Central Washington, we've historically had a high poverty rate, low education levels. There's certain things that kind of put us at a disadvantage anyway. And so we've got to be really, really aware of that. One of the things that I'll be bringing to the governor's attention, and I know he knows this, but we've got, I think it's about 48,000 farm workers, in the Chelan, Douglas, Grant County area. I think that's the number. Approximately 30,000 or so live here year-round. They're residents. They're coming, and we've also got the H-2A workers coming, and so, as you know, a lot of those folks traditionally work in close proximity to each other. They live in close proximity to each other. That's a big, big issue. And one of the things the Latino Communications Network is going to do, in fact, we're working on that right now, is how to reach these folks beyond the ways we've been doing it so far, which include like infographics and videos, and we've been running radio spots. But we got to do more now. We've got to figure out how to kind of reach some of these folks who, frankly, probably won't be that easy to reach.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. And before we get to just beautiful details coming up this weekend, let's take another look outside our weather window. This time, we're looking back down the Columbia River from our Rondo Rock Sky-Fi Tower camera, looking back at Turtle Rock. Boy, isn't it just pronounced today, isn't it? With just a little bit of light snow still on the Cascades and lots of blue sky out there, made for just a fantastic Thursday. Unofficially, high temperatures today at 69 degrees, and that's exactly where we should be for this time of year. So just a perfect spring day out there today. We started off at 42. That's just slightly below our normal low temperature of 46 degrees. Record high 92. That was set back in 1987, and it was a cold one in 2010. Our record low 34 degrees. Something to talk about as far as precip goes. Remember, it was wet yesterday morning when we woke up. We did pick up a little bit of rain overnight, 7/100ths of an inch, and that now gets us to 1.88 inches. Just think about that, though. That's from January 1st to now May 7th. We have picked up only 1.88 inches of precipitation. So needless to say, we could use all we can get, but really none in the forecast. Sunrise this morning, 5:34, and the sun will set tonight at 8:21. Let's take a look at that beautiful Friday weather forecast. If you thought today was nice, just wait until we get into Friday. We're going to see lots of sunshine tomorrow with light winds, and look at these temperatures. Almost 80 in Moses Lake tomorrow, upper 70s for Quincy and Ephrata, 77 degrees here in the Wenatchee area, 77 for Entiat, and mid-70s as well for Chelan and up into Omak. And just wait, it's going to get warmer than that when we get into the weekend. But let's start with tonight and take a look at our surface loop. Clear skies and mild temperatures. Here's our ridge right here. A high pressure below that. This ridge is continuously building and moving up the coastline. And by the time we get into the weekend, it will be all the way up into British Columbia. Tomorrow, sunshine. That'll be the start of a very nice warming trend as we get into the upcoming weekend. All kinds of clear skies around the western United States. Temperature-wise, we'll already be in the 80s tomorrow. That will be in the Tri-Cities. We're not going to quite be that warm. We talked about that, but still going to be awfully nice. Saturday, we are going to get there. Middle 80s for Tri-Cities, lower 80s for the Wenatchee Valley and Columbia Basin. Just a light southwest breeze for Saturday. Maybe a little more wind for you folks around Moses Lake on Sunday, but I'll tell you, still warm, and we will see temperatures once again in the lower to mid 80s all across our viewing area. And then as we get into Monday, a few more clouds moving in. That'll be late in the day. Still a pretty nice day on Monday, but you can see things get a little mucky as we move into the first part of next week with clouds rolling in. Here's our area of low pressure right here that will swing some showers our way, especially as we get into Tuesday. A 50% chance of rain then, and this is a pretty favorable flow for us from the southwest to pick up some rain showers, so it could be a wet one on Tuesday. By the time we get into Wednesday, our chance for showers goes down, but we will stay mostly cloudy, and there you can see a lot of showers in the western part of Washington and especially to our south. Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling 7-day forecast tonight. Another mild one at 50. And look at these temperatures then as we get into the weekend. 77 Friday, 81 your high temperature on Saturday. Even warmer Sunday under mostly sunny skies and 82 degrees. Once again, increasing clouds for Monday and 76. And then kind of a rainy couple days on Tuesday and Wednesday. A cool down too. We'll see 71 Tuesday and 70 your high temperature on Wednesday. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
With TV advertising, what we want to do is more deeply connect with the community.
People spot me in different parts around North Central, Costco and Wenatchee, say, hey, you're the pizza guy. And so they wouldn't know that if it weren't for the TV commercials we've done.
We've been here so long that people already know who we are and what we do, but to have that image flash on their television screen as opposed to just hearing in the radio or seeing in the newspaper. I just love the fact that we can actually put our finger on when a customer comes in and says, I saw your ad.
It's becoming increasingly difficult in this digital age to know where are your customers listening or watching, because I watch all the different channels that they watch too, like Cooking Channel, History Channel, and so it was wonderful to be able to be on there.
I would say that if you want to do business in Wenatchee, then you should connect with the people of Wenatchee, and there's no better way to do that than with NCWLIFE.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Thursday to you. Staying home and staying healthy. Eric Granstrom on the NCWLIFE channel. Sports news, the NFL coming out with its 2020 schedule as we speak on the NFL Network. Seahawks fans can get their peek of the Seahawks schedule by going online to Seahawks.com. Seattle's opponents for this season include home games against Arizona, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Dallas, the New York Giants, New England Patriots, New York Jets, and Minnesota Vikings. Road games will be against the Cardinals, Rams, 49ers, and in Washington, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Miami, and Buffalo. Again, details available at Seahawks.com or by downloading the Seahawks app. You can also watch that on the NFL Network. ESPN reporting that Major League Baseball expects to offer a proposal to bring back baseball in the next 2 months. According to ESPN's Jeff Passan, the plan would have players begin a spring training by June 10th, with the season beginning by July 1st. Several hurdles have to be overcome before anything could be finalized, including approval by the Players Union, national public health officials, and maybe even the White House. As with what's planned in many parts of the country, baseball's return would be a ramp-up proposition. Play would begin without fans and possibly in regions such as Arizona and Florida, then slowly return to home parks as COVID-19 numbers allow. It's also suggested that the season would be reduced from 162 games to anywhere between 80 and 100. Well, Hockey Night tonight here on the NCWLIFE channel features a great game of our past as we reach back to that magical playoff run for the Wild back in 2018. It's Game 6 of the BCHL playoffs between Wenatchee and the Vernon Vipers from the Town Toyota Center. The Wild up 3-2 in the series, with each team winning on home ice. Wenatchee desperately wanted to end the series at home and not have to make a return trip back to Vernon. Art Jecker had the call on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
Back the other direction. Here come the Vipers. You got help. The shot scored. Derek Brown with a shot from the left circle. Svetlakov works it back ahead for Brown. Brown comes in over to the right side. Shot and a score by Lambert. He's in up high for Zek. Back to Galambus. He unloads. He scores! Zach Galambus rockets at top shelf. Shoveled back down low by Stratton. Back out in front for Karamanis. He's in. He shoots and he scores. Turned over by the Wild in the defensive zone. It bounced to Karamanis, and he was able to step in alone. Had no one in front. He made a nice move, cut hard to his right, and tucked it in around behind Park, low on the glove side. Then it hit his skate as well, and now it's Weatherby. He shoots, he scores! Jasper Weatherby rocketed that shot high on the glove side. Sharply across left side, Zach shot, tipped in front, score! And we are tied at 3. Weatherby jams it down low. It's for Souter. He gets tangled up, cleared successfully by the Vipers. That's going to about kill it off. And they are going to dodge a huge bullet. But this game is going to be decided for the second night in a row in sudden death overtime.
Watch the dramatic finish tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on your home for the Wenatchee Wild NCWLIFE channel. Also coming up this weekend, here tomorrow night, baseball. Apple Sox taking on the Bellingham Bells from last July. That starts at 6:30. And the first of 2 great games of our past on Saturday features girls basketball from the NCW Showcase from December of 2017 between Rogers of Puyallup and Eastmont. That gets going at 2. Then at 6:30, it's Eastmont and Sunnyside football volleyball at Eastmont High School from October of 2018. Then coming up Sunday's double feature, it has Eastmont and Wenatchee volleyball from October of 2018 at 2 o'clock, followed by the Wild and Vernon Vipers from this year's playoffs at 7. Well, fishing reopened in Washington earlier this week on Tuesday, but with great weather in the forecast, we're expecting a lot of anglers to head for the waters this coming weekend. Now, the Department of Fish and Wildlife has warned anglers not to ignore social distancing, and if there's a problem, they'll shut the season down once again. In an effort to remind anglers of those do's and don'ts as you head out this weekend, the folks at Addicted Fishing came out with a fun video.
Dude, I heard there is a fire bite up north. I got the river. The guy sent me a bunch of messages about it. We got to head up there.
Dude, how far?
It's like 3.5 hours, I think.
Screw it, full send. We're going.
Let's do it. All right, I'll be over there in a little bit.
On my way.
All right, later.
Oh, hey, you been getting any bites? Oh, yeah, the bluegill bite is fire. Oh, looks like kind of a small pond. You mind if I fish next year? Yeah, come on in, bud.
All right, who's driving? You do it. All right, cool, I got it. Let's go. One mob in mind.
Hey, Clint, is that you? What's up, buddy? Hey, bud.
Dude, I've been wanting to do this all spring. Little low hole Clint time.
Hey, wait, what? Oh, hey, Marlon, what's going on, man?
Dude, whoa. 6 feet, dude. Keep your distance.
You're right. Hey, bud, can you give me a ride back to my truck?
Actually, yeah, I guess. You're gonna have to jump in the back, though.
All right.
Sorry, dude, there's a lot of stuff in there, but we gotta keep our distance. Jump in.
Okay.
Well, it's funny, but it's true. Maintain a 6-foot separation, no overnight trips, and if you go fishing with people, they got to be from your household. Let's all do what we can to keep the waters open here in Washington. With sports, I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you very much, Grant. You know, this has been a very difficult time for everybody in North Central Washington, everybody everywhere. Because of the pandemic. We're holding up our end here at the NCWLIFE channel, even though it's been difficult for us as well. As a matter of fact, we've been able to get through this crisis here with very little side effects, although we have, to be honest with you, let some bills kind of slide. For instance, we haven't even paid our power bill here at the NCWLIFE channel for a couple of months, but the PUD hasn't even noticed it. Oh, maybe they did. Provided we get our electricity turned back on again, we'll have a Wake Up Wenatchee Valley episode for you on Friday. Grant, back to you.
We must have paid the bill, Dan, and that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
Shop in Chelan has all the meats, homemade side dishes, sauces, and rubs you need. And after a brief break for a new baby, the Meat Shop will return to regular hours in beautiful downtown Chelan. Deepwater Home Electronics is open on modified hours to serve our community. Verizon phone services, computer repair, installations, and service calls help you stay connected while you are social distancing. Chelan Cellars and Sorrento's Restaurante look forward to seeing you after they're able to open up again. In the meantime, you can share in their award-winning wines by visiting or giving them a call.
Doghouse Motorsports just won Best Motorsports Store for the 6th year in a row. Is it the great facility? Is it the fantastic products? Or is it?
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Tabor.
I'm Mike. And I'm Glenn.
Hi, I'm Todd.
I'm Jeff.
And this is the Doghouse Service Team.
Hi, I'm Dee.
And I'm Dwayne.
And I'm Kathy.
Come on in and experience the Doghouse.
Are you in the Doghouse?
In a world afraid of technology, one man, one show will bring you the newest innovations that may just change your life. This summer, Ray McNeil and your Weekly Tech Update is your Weekly Tech Update with Ray McNeil.